Time is now 5:01. I'd like to call today's Utility Service Board meeting to order. We'll start with our mission. The City of Bloomington Utilities' mission is to enhance the quality of life in our community by providing safe, sustainable, and high-quality drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater services in a cost-effective manner, promoting public health, economic vitality, and environmental stewardship. If any board member has a personal or financial conflict with any issues or individuals on the agenda, then please be sure to recuse yourself during those portions of the meeting. We will begin today's meeting with petitions and communications. Are there any petitions or communications from the public? Moving along, we'll move to the approval of minutes of the previous meeting. Do you have any questions or comments on the minutes from the previous meeting?
Move we approve the minutes of the September 22nd meeting.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Minutes are approved. Next, we have the approval of claims. We'll start with the standard invoices for a total amount of $698,245.59. Are there any questions or comments on the standard invoices? Yeah. Go ahead.
I was looking at Jeff, I thought for sure he would have one.
I want to see if you got the same one.
Okay, so we're playing that game, huh? Okay, so I have a question about on page 3, the vehicle maintenance. No, darn it, okay. And I know that that is our set rate as per the MOU, correct? I pulled out some of my notes here and I looked at a request that we had made, the board had, well, actually, I'll pull this up under old business. So no questions on that. And then I just have one other set of questions on page 8. And I think I know the answer to this, but I want to make sure. It says type R class 2 short sleeve t-shirts. We're not paying, like, it's for Patricia Mary West, safety threads. Are those like class 2 shirt? It's not that we're getting 2 short sleeve shirts for $800, right? I hope not either. Is it just that that's the classification? Like it says type R class 2.
Yes, it's a classification.
Okay.
It's not just 2 t-shirts.
Okay.
$100.
All right, fantastic. Those were my 2 questions.
I have just one question on page 6, and that's under the second and third John Deere Financial. It's the same claim, and for some reason we split this one up between water and do the 60/40, but it's on 2 different lines, which is pretty atypical, and I was wondering why we did that in this case. It looks all correct. It just
I'm trying to find
we're on.
the voice. Yeah.
So I was just wondering why we did it that way in this case.
But I'll keep looking for the invoice.
Okay.
If you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the standard invoice?
Move we approve standard invoices for October 10th. Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Standard invoices are approved. Next, we have utility bills for a total amount of $17,559.81. Are there any questions or comments on the utility claims?
I move we approve the utility bills for October 2nd pay date. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Utility bills are approved. Next, we have wire transfers for a total amount of $633,392.71. Are there any questions or comments on the wire transfers?
I move we approve wire transfers for the month of October.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Wire transfers are approved. Lastly,
The real key ones were for toolboxes for the shop, so that's why they were spread out.
What's that?
They were for toolboxes
Yeah.
for the shop, that's why it was split out.
Okay, yeah, it looked like it was for a truck, and it was split, like they weren't all on the same line. Usually we'd have water,
Right.
wastewater, stormwater, and I just didn't understand why they got on two different lines, that's all.
Okay.
The amount looks correct.
Okay, it was probably just processed in two different areas. Like there's probably one toolbox, then another toolbox, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Invoice number.
the same invoice number, it's a 60-40 split, so that all makes sense, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it was just that it was on two different lines, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It shouldn't be a big deal, but I was just
Okay.
a different way of,
Yeah.
that we regularly do things.
Yeah, sure. I'm just not sure why that happened that way. Sorry.
Okay.
okay. Next, we have customer refunds for a total amount of $545.76. Are there any questions or comments on the customer refunds?
I move we approve customer refunds for October 10th.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, say nay. Customer refunds are approved. Thank you all. Item number 5 on our agenda is approval of consent agenda. Catherine Zager.
Good evening, I'm Catherine Zager, Utilities Director. I'm presenting tonight's consent agenda totaling $0 for non-chemical contracts. Our contract is with Water Solutions Unlimited, Inc. for $9.50 per gallon for the 2025 supply of copper sulfate at Monroe Water Treatment Plant. Is there any member who wishes to consider one or more of these items individually? Hearing none, if there's no opposition, these items will be approved as recommended by staff. Hearing no opposition, the consent agenda is approved.
Thank you. Item 6 is request approval of First Amendment to Service Agreement with McAllister Machinery Company Incorporated. Kelsey Thadonia.
Good evening, board members. Kelsey Thatonia, Environmental Division. This is a amendment to an existing contract we have, and it is just to correct a small scrivener's error in the way the contract was first written. It is meant to renew for 2 extra years after year 1. We are currently in year 2. And it is just to clarify the amounts that year 2 and 3 are not the same as year 1. And that is due to the fact that the work in the contract, the inspection and maintenance on these generators varies from year to year as outlined in the scope. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions for Kelsey? Hearing none, do we have a motion for approval?
Yeah, I move we approve the service agreement amendment with McAllister Machinery.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion is approved. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next, we have request approval of First Amendment to Service Agreement with Potomac Electrical Services LLC. Hector Ortiz.
Hello, good evening. Hector Ortiz, Assistant Director Operation. And this is to amend the contract, extending the expiration of the contract for 3 years instead of 3 months like it was. So, any questions?
Any questions for Hector?
I move we approve the First Amendment to the service agreement with Potomac Electrical.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Request is approved. Thank
Thank you.
you. Next, we have request approval of Resolution 2025-20 for the salaries of appointed officers, non-union, and ASCME employees for the City of Bloomington Utilities Department for 2026. Catherine Zager.
Hello,
I would like to request the review and approval of the 2025-20 resolution for the salaries of appointed officers, non-union AFSCME employees for the City of Bloomington Utilities for 2026. This is to recommend to the council the changes we have proposed in our salary ordinance. In the packet, there's an attached memo describing those changes. Additionally, we have a slide that summarizes it. I think the next one. There it is. So I just thought this would be an easier way to look at it. You're welcome. So we are not proposing any new positions. However, we are proposing quite a few changes to current positions. This is kind of added up after a couple of years as the new administration and new HR department had made adjustments using the Crow salary study. We wanted to wait until after that had been implemented to propose our changes. So this is has, I suppose, piled up after a couple of years. So we will be changing a total of, I believe, 10 positions for a total of 9 requests to the to council, and we would like for your review and recommendation of these changes. Happy to take any questions. I could review these with you if you'd like. Yeah.
Yeah, so Catherine, are these are reclassifications, right?
Yes.
So did Crow recommend these specific, did they review our job descriptions and say, yes, these positions have increased in complexity and responsibility? Or did we do, where was the review done?
So this review was, some of the reviews for these were done during that time and some were done afterwards using the same rubric essentially. So some of the changes, for example, the top one, the administrative assistant to the director, is being proposed to be an office manager. And it's because the existing job description didn't fully reflect all of the duties and responsibilities of the administrative assistant to the director. Once we added what the actual job was, it was reclassified to an office manager. So that's an example of one of the changes. It was enough of a reclassification to justify a change in grade. For some of them, they're organizational changes. For example, the lead communications operator is it is a new position, but it's really a reworking of one of our communications operator positions to have additional duties, such as dealing with some of these 811 requests that are new and kind of burdensome. They're also going to be helping with the, now that we've reopened the walk-ins, they'll be helping as the receptionist for that. So that will be kind of their lead communications operator. So it's a combination of either reclassifying after we looked at the job and the job duties, and or organizational changes. For example, the administrative assistant at the bottom, that is a change to organizational, to reflect our organizational changes. Previously, the admin assistant in this role served one plant, and now with they'll be moving from a 4 to a 5 because they will be serving all of operations.
So some of them were reviewed by Crow and the others were done by city HR?
Yeah, so all of the positions at one point were reviewed by Crow, but that was a while ago, and these organizations change over time, right? And so when Crow reviewed those initially, they were reviewing the old job descriptions. These new ones have been reviewed through HR and through their consult. So they have a consultant who looks at classification and benefits as well.
Okay. Well, in my past experience in city and county government, I've noticed sometimes people use this system to provide raises, although jobs haven't changed. It was a problem at the county
Yeah.
because they had such a difficult time ever getting increases for their hourly people. The SOP was, well, let's change the classification. But that turns the whole HR system upside down because then you really don't have a classification system. So I just wanted to make sure that we're doing this with some external review and that the jobs are truly getting additional responsibility or complexity that would earn the additional pay.
Absolutely. And for all of these, there is either a change in duties coming or there was a change in duties in the existing position that needed to be accounted for. For example, I think a really good example is our change. So we have in engineering 3 utilities technicians, and we are proposing to change that to 2 utilities technicians and then 1 plan central coordinator. And so how that had happened is that over years, one of the utilities technicians was taking on additional responsibility for our plan review as that grew. And so as they took on more of that responsibility and more of those duties, that position drifted away from a utilities technician position, which is why it made sense to change it.
Well, thanks. You know, as we're looking for a rate increase, it's incumbent on us to make sure we're using every dollar the right way.
Yes. And one thing to point out, and so there was a mid-year change this year. There was a mid-year change this year. And in that mid-year change, we removed 2 positions that we were not planning on filling, that we didn't have use for. One of those was the K-9 unit. We decided to move away from the K-9 unit. And so the changes that we're proposing here, we've balanced with ones that we've removed as well.
Thank you. Any other questions for Kat? Yeah.
Yeah, a few questions. First, can you just remind me, does utilities go through the same process? So that there's like a workforce committee, right? They renamed it the Workforce Evaluation and Realignment Committee, I think. WERC,
yeah.
And so I know most departments in the city have gone routed through that committee process that has also leveraged external consultants, as you noted, and kind of sought to implement broadly the framework of recommendations from the Crow study. Is that process identical for City of Bloomington utilities, or is it distinct in some way, given kind of, I don't know, some of the unique aspects of utilities?
The process is identical. However, I would say the only difference is that we don't share the same budget constraints as the general fund. I mean, we share budget constraints, but we are not the same budget.
Yep. Perfect. And my recollection is that, so we already did a whole round of raises that through last year's budget, basically, and then also implemented earlier this year, or at least authorized, I think we actually funded too, implementation of a step process, 5 steps within each grade to have different levels, recognizing at this point, I think, just longevity of service, whether that is from a prior role or in the existing role. And so is where we are now, these proposed changes, like, I guess I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding where we are in the process. So I think the first round of reclassifications was based on existing job descriptions, analyzed under a new framework and a new grade range. Then we did the step analysis and implementation of steps for each role. And now there's an opportunity for your department and others to also change job descriptions where that was appropriate or make the case for it, which in some cases leads to reclassification.
Correct.
That's all right? Okay.
That's an excellent assessment
Wonderful.
of how it went down.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
I have a couple questions. Thank you for all that information. So were there any other positions under review that are not under consideration for reclassification? So I guess, was there anyone that requested you consider that they were not classified high enough in their position that you reviewed, that you've not proposed as a change, just in general? Or did people feel like besides these positions, when they were classified, did they feel like that was the appropriate level?
So, I'll answer this in two parts. So, one thing, as Councilmember Flaherty was describing the process, one thing that we have to be careful to avoid is utilizing this work process, and I think, Kirk, you also alluded to this as well, is that we don't want to use the work process as we're not satisfied with the results of Crow. So we're going to try to use this to change it. What this truly is meant to be is the job has changed.
Right.
The job description is inaccurate. And those are the types of reasons why we would submit something to work. With that said, this is not the total of all the requests that were made. So the way the process works at utilities is that, and the way that we run this so that we can get input from every division, is that each division has a memo, and then we take those and then try to make one for the utility, and then try to really, at each time prioritize what we can budget for. And so this is not the end of the list, if that's your question.
Thank you.
Yes.
What are the sum total of the fiscal impacts? I see them listed individually in many places, but I didn't see a total anywhere easily.
Yes. I don't have the sum total of the fiscal impacts. However, I will say that when this was initially done, the full memo included the positions that we eliminated at the mid-year, and including the positions that we eliminated at mid-year, the total fiscal impact was less than $9,000.
The additional impact minus the removal of the two
Yes.
positions. Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Questions? Any other questions or comments for Kat?
So to confirm, if this is approved tonight and then is approved by the city council, then this would be implemented in January or immediately?
January 1.
Okay, thank you.
There's also another slide. If you want to go to the next slide as well, there's two. There's the rest. Some of these positions are changing from part-time to full-time as well as some of the changes.
Okay, I move approval of Resolution 2025-20 for salaries of appointed officers and employees.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Request is approved. Item 9 is request approval of emergency contract with Set Environmental Incorporated. Isabel Quiros.
Hello. Isabel Quiros, Hazmat Coordinator. I'm here to present an emergency contract with Set Environmental for the total of $5,402.07. This was for emergency response at the Monroe plant. Any questions? Yes.
What happened?
Yeah, we had a small 2-gallon spill of copper sulfate at the plant. It was a very rare event in which it wasn't contained, and it was close to the lake. So because of that, we decided that it was better to call for emergency response, as that's something that would be preferred by item.
So we use copper sulfate at the intake tower?
That's where it is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that sits in the water in the lake?
No. That's the tower. Close to the tower, there is.
Intake tower on the memo. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I can see how that can be confusing. It is not sitting on top of the tower. There is a small chemical building where copper sulfate and sodium permanganate is stored, and it gets injected
Up on
close
top of the hill.
to the. It's close at the intake tower.
Okay.
We have like a small little chemical storage there,
Okay,
just for those two chemicals.
okay.
Two questions. Number one, like with I know we're doing the safety of like the water and the land, but what about with our personnel that were exposed? Is there anything that, you know, any procedures or precautions that they have taken, or how does that look?
For this, well, it's different for each spill, right? For this one, nobody was exposed, and there was no risk for exposure or for it to be flagged as a public health concern. But because of the proximity to the lake, we wanted to call emergency response as because of the importance of the lake, of course, and also because we have to report spills that are uncontained. So there's follow-up with IDEM on the spills. And it's a lot easier to do the follow-up when they know the cleaning is done by third party.
Thank you. My other question is, so I know this is a rare occurrence, but what can we do? Is there anything that we could do to prevent this from happening again?
Yeah, absolutely. Every time there is an incidental spill, we do, after the response, we do an analysis of what happened, and we do a root cause analysis, and we implement, identify opportunities to prevent this from happening again.
How far are we in that analysis?
It was already done. It's done pretty soon after the incident, so it's fresh on everyone's minds. And what happened from this one is that there were some repairs that were being done, and that led to some rainwater to go into a manhole that was dry before. And with the repair, some of the chemical started to leak from a valve that we didn't know it was completely sealed. So now it is completely sealed.
Okay. Thank you. It sounds like our hazards come from doing repairs at the water treatment plant that really justify the need for the water rate case to be able to make these repairs on the larger scale so that we're not constantly repairing, we're just getting it updated fully. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned the
Oh, yes.
proximity to the lake, and that was a concern. I didn't realize we had a lot of chemicals near the intake tower. Do we have good containment procedures in place?
The tanks are stored in the building that has the tanks. They have 110% capacity for containment. So if they were to spill, they would all have to be contained there. After that, if it's a big spill or if it risks the safety of the workers, then we call emergency response. They're very quick to come to site. For this particular one, when we called them, they were there to clean it up in less than 2 hours. So they're very, very quick. So we do have spill procedures, spill response for incidental. When I say incidental, I mean spills that are not posing a threat to our workers. And they're manageable, which it's, from the spills that we've had, is the majority. Not that we have one every week. But yes, we do have procedures in place.
Physical containment?
The building is engineered to provide for containment, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Copper sulfate, I'm not familiar with it. Is it have toxicity, or is it caustic, or what's the danger?
It's acidic, so it's corrosive. That would be the immediate one, and then for spills, we have to there are thresholds that we need to take care of whenever, it depends on each chemical. that we need to take care of, and that would be a reporting issue to item or to the appropriate channel. This was a very small one. It was a 2-gallon one, approximately.
You have any other questions for Isabel?
Oh,
Chris?
And hi, Chris Wheeler, City Legal. This contract is very recent. It's being routed right now for approval. So your motion, I would like it to be pending controller's approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Wasn't so bad, was it?
I can do that. All right, I move approval of the emergency contract with SET Environmental pending city controller approval. Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Request is approved. Thank you.
thank you.
Next, old business. I think we have old business from the board.
Yes. So now I'll bring up my question. Earlier this year, when we were talking about the MOU and the charges to fleet, we had a discussion. You guys did some drilling into the data, and I believe where we had left it at the March 25th meeting, that there was $120,000 that we had to do outside, repair work that we had to do outside of fleet. And you guys were going to get us some further information on this, just in terms of when we are ready when it's time for the MOU, that we were going to know what expenses we were paying out to them, what are the charges that we're having to do outside, what would those charges be that if we didn't have fleet do it and we just did it on our own, what would we save? And then I did inquire, so we originally talked about this in February. We were given a report on it in May, and then I asked again in April as where the status was. So now we're at October, and to my knowledge, I went through the notes. I didn't see that we've had any report on this. I'm bringing this up because we just made another payment. We're also going to be in negotiations for the MOU, and I would like us to be prepared on these fleet charges that we seem to just constantly, every year, hammer on. I really would like us to have our ducks in line as to what we are getting service there, what would be of better benefit to go elsewhere, not only for pricing, but also for timing of when we fully understand and appreciate the need to service, the police cars and other things that are there for public safety, but we are also here for public safety. And so if we cannot, if we're second or third tier and we're paying a first tier rate, I would like us to really have this in place before we get to that MOU point. So it's just kind of my friendly reminder that I'm keeping track of my board follow-up, and we're now at October. So that's my old business, so.
Thank you, yeah.
I can give you an update on that. We are really close to finalizing that summary. So we've been working with the external vendors, if you will, and we're getting real close to finalizing that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fantastic. And I'm just glad it hasn't been lost.
Nope, it has not been lost.
And
It just,
I do hope that we see some potential changes in that, so, thank you.
it's just been harder to collect the data than we thought, that's all. So
Pardon?
it's just been harder to collect the data than we thought it was gonna be, so.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I just want us to be ready. And if we can't pull those numbers together, and now almost, it'll be a year, we've got to spend a little time making sure we are getting that ready.
We're getting ready. So.
Fantastic, thank you.
Any other old business from the board? Old business from staff?
No.
New business, any new business from the board? New business from staff?
No.
We didn't have a subcommittee report, so staff reports.
All right. Got a couple things. First, we'd like to welcome Rachel Gray, who has
Rachel.
just joined us. Rachel Gray is the new administrative assistant to the director, replacing Frank. And then I also wanted you to mark your calendars for Thursday, December 11th. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., we will be doing our CBU holiday luncheon. December 11th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you.
And that'll be here?
Yes, that'll be here.
Bring your appetite.
Yeah, it's not one to miss.
Never been an issue with me.
All right, that's all I've got.
Awesome. Lastly, petitions and communications. Any petitions and communications from the public? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
Meeting is adjourned.